coming into a place where like union organizers, labor organizers, community organizers in general across the board congregate and being like, you guys aren't doing much is crazy. Okay.
Central Kitchen is pausing its Gaza operations after 7 of its workers were killed in an airstrike, leaving even fewer options for Palestinians on the brink of famine. They had just finished unloading
Winstonian, thank you for the 5-2 gift of subs.
At a warehouse in central Gaza when the group says their cars were hit by an Israeli strike. Here's what the Israeli Prime Minister had to say.
Unfortunately, in the last day, there was a tragic incident where our forces unintentionally struck innocent people in the Gaza Strip. It happens in war, and we are thoroughly investigating
GG's, it happens.
We are in contact with the governments, and we'll
the
do
real
everything
Stone Ruby,
to
thank you for
prevent
the 5-2 gift of subs.
in the future.
Well, World Central Kitchen has been feeding starving residents of Gaza since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. CNN's Melissa Bell is in Jerusalem. Melissa, with devastating news for World Central Kitchen aid workers. What more do we know about the strike and, importantly, also the messaging from Israel right now? What we've heard is that they were in touch with the IDF, they knew the route, but clearly something went wrong, and right now we just don't know what.
That's right. In fact, we've just been hearing from the IDF, Eleni, saying that its top general is personally going to review the information as it comes in as part of what's been described to us as the high-level probe that is being launched to try and figure out what went on. As you say, according to World Central Kitchen, this was a convoy in a deconflicted part of Gaza. It had been delivering 100 tons of aid to a warehouse. The convoy was then leaving when it was hit. And when you look at those pictures of the aftermath,
how could this have happened? I'm shocked, personally, that the country whose military practices involve shooting unarmed, white flag waving Israeli hostages because they weren't sufficiently in the moment looking, I guess, Israeli enough, even though they were speaking in Hebrew. That country ended up deliberately targeting a humanitarian aid convoy that it allowed to operate. That's crazy. Very shocking. Yeah, a convoy that was struck 3 times over 2 kilometers as people ran from one car to the next, and also informed as fast as they possibly could that this was the wrong fucking convoy that they were hitting.
Of the strike, you can see on the armored car the World Central Kitchen logo clearly exposed. So that will now be the subject of an investigation by the IDF. But of course,
yeah, dude, we investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing, of course. Hey, by the way, before people fucking go like, how could they have done this? I mean, it's probably an accident. It's probably an accident. Let me explain something to you, okay? Here is a photo of one of the fucking cars. You know, one of the cars that got melted. What does that say next to that, next to the fucking impact site? Oh, that's right. It says World Central Kitchen. Unintentionals that drop the missile 300 feet away and shrapnel hit you, not a direct hit. No, there is no unintentional. Israel is correct when they openly state that they know where every missile lands. Okay? Israel knows where every fucking missile lands. Remember, after the Great March of Return, the Israeli officials openly said, we know where every sniper rifle bullet lands. Every bullet is accounted for. And then they had to delete that tweet Okay, why did they have to delete that tweet? Because they were like, oh shit, it looks bad that we were just like straight up wounding children with snipers. There is no defense for Israel. There is no defense whatsoever. It's pretty fucked up for Hamas to use cars like these to cover their operations. r/World News editors, don't ever bring that fucking Nazi-infested shithole in here ever again. That subreddit is completely overtaken by Hasbara trolls. It doesn't fucking matter. Stop going there. You are never going to fight the good fight there, okay? It's like going to r/Destiny and trying to fucking trying to defend Palestinians as though they're human beings. It's not gonna happen. It's just full of fucking fascists, okay? It is not an accident. It is a deliberate targeting. It's never an accident, okay? They only say it's an accident when they feel like the rest of the world is looking at it and going, what the fuck are you doing? Only then do they go, oh, it's an accident. Because it's not an accident. It's not. It's intentional. It's always intentional.
The fact that the World Central Kitchen, that has played, as you say, such a crucial role in getting aid to the hungry in Gaza, and let us bear in mind that it is 2.2 million people, according to the UN, that are at danger of hunger, and half of the population of Gaza that is now facing famine. So this was critically needed aid coming to people.
Why does this matter when they're doing more strikes to civilian Gazans every day, 10x more? Why do you think, dude? Because most people don't give a shit about Palestinians getting fucking lasered, but they do give a shit when their neighbors are getting fucking lasered. Everybody knows somebody that at least like went and fucking I don't know, does like humanitarian aid and shit. Okay? It sucks, but that is the entire principle. That is literally the entire purpose behind Doctors Without Borders. So that like they put white people in hospitals so they don't blow up the fucking hospitals. And America still does it, by the way. Kunduz, Obama did it. And Israel certainly as well keeps doing it regardless. But that's the whole fucking principle behind these organizations, is that like you put white people, you know, which have more social capital in the eyes of other white people living in the fucking Western world, so that they hopefully won't get murked by Israel. That's the whole point. And Israel does not give a shit. Israel's still like, I don't care. Fuck you.
Who desperately needed it. The World Central Kitchen has played a crucial role because even as the land crossings have remained very difficult for so much of the aid that agencies are trying to get in, they had been delivering it by sea. So ships coming in from Cyprus, delivering the aid to a jetty that has been made off the edge of northern Gaza. And what we understand, Eleni,
like you're still coping. You're still coping. You're still coping. You're still coping. You said Mercedes. Come on, dude. Did you read the fucking B'Tselem article? Don't come back in here until you do a little bit of reading. Okay, you said Mercedes. Hamas doesn't hide in cakes. They build bases under hospitals because everyone loves killing people in hospitals, right? Yes, dude. I'm sorry. Israel does love killing people in hospitals. Straight up. The fuck? Like, after the 11th hospital siege, you gotta go, all right, maybe they like doing this. You know what I mean? Also, you're saying they built a base under a hospital. Israel's own fucking version of events contradicts what you're saying. They said that Israel's original reason for sieging the Al-Shifa hospital was because there was a massive command and control center of Hamas underneath the hospital. And then they literally went in, found that there was like empty fucking tunnels, barely tunnels, no base to be found. And they openly yesterday said, yeah, we were wrong about the hospital tunnels. It turns out it's not as important. They said that yesterday. You're still operating on like fucking 4 months ago Hasbara shit. That's crazy. And then you're like, oh, just so you know, Israel sends Gaza money for years, knowing the citizens of Gaza get none of it because Hamas take it all. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? The Mercedes thing is a referencing a common talking point in Gaza. They had a Mercedes dealership. It's just wild. They have a Mercedes dealership so we could kill them all. Great. I hope you recognize that what you're saying is like akin to the same kind of Holocaust denial or the same kind of fascist denial that Nazi Germany engaged in when they talked about the ghettos that they put Jews into, where they would be like, well, there's fucking at these camps. You guys think that these are like really bad. They're terrifying. Well, we brought the Red Cross in and showed them how sick the pools were. That's what they did. They did that shit. And many people around the world looked at it and were like, yeah, I don't believe that these white guys are doing wrong. Talking a big game for a dude who just refused to read one article that I sent you.
Is that aid that had just been delivered to the warehouse was indeed aid that had just been delivered to Gaza by maritime route. So the fact that World Central Kitchen is pausing its operations, really a devastating blow to the overall humanitarian picture in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, I mean, it's really devastating to see the images and the aftermath of this strike. Melissa, I also want to understand in terms of where to from here. The IDF says they're going to be embarking on an investigation at the highest level. You've got the US voicing their concern. The Australian Prime Minister also saying that there needs to be accountability. I guess everyone here needs to find out exactly what happened. In these sort of matters, how quickly will we hear from the IDF in terms of understanding why the strike happened on something that was clearly marked as aid workers?
It's so funny. They're like, how could this have happened? Why could this have happened? I mean, I guess it's just like journalism speak. You know what I mean? Like they're doing the classic like, we're all confused out at how this could have happened. Like, we're all so confused by it. Like, how could this have happened, really? It's like, dude, come on. You're at CNN. Like, I know for a fact, I know producers that work at CNN and have worked at CNN. Pretty much everybody fucking behind closed doors knows that Israeli officials are the least reliable orators on issues that pertain to Israel. Everybody knows they're fucking lying. Everyone knows what the fuck is going on. You see the news reports. You cover it. How many times do you have to go, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. That's crazy.
I suspect that the answers are going to have to come pretty quickly, Eleni, because as you suggest, it was the diverse background of these workers. There was an American Canadian citizen, a British citizen, a Polish citizen, an Australian citizen, a Palestinian as well. And you've heard outrage expressed from all of their home countries, including the White House, which has spoken of its sorrow and concern about what might have gone on. So these countries are asking for urgent questions, as are the UN agencies that have so desperately been trying to get aid in and raise alarm bells about what's going on inside the Gaza Strip. We've been hearing, Eleni, from the head.
No uproar when Palestinians go through this 10,000 times a month. Chatters, you're making the correct point, but it's ridiculous to make that point right now. Okay? Use a moment like this to get other people on board. Stop being fucking stupid, because ultimately, if more people are aware of what the fuck's going on, every single person that you bring on to your cause, okay, means that there are now more people protesting against Israel as it kills. Senin ananı sikeyim FETÖ'cü orospu çocuğu Hasan. Ölçtüm kafasıyla 20 santim.
Head of the UN's agency that deals with relief in the occupied territories, pointing out that this is far from an isolated incident. It is 196 aid workers, he says, that have been killed so far since the war began across the occupied territories. And that is a reminder of how very dangerous this work is at a time when it is increasingly desperately needed. Of course, we've been hearing repeatedly from the IDF, from the Israeli side, Eleni, of their attempts to increase the amount of aid getting in, to work with the aid agencies as they try to bring relief. But in terms of what's happening on the ground...
The previous chatter gave their counter, the Holocaust. Wait, really?
We continue to hear from the UN agencies desperate pleas for more to get in, and in this particular case, what appears to be a failure on the IDF side to work with these humanitarian aid workers. So I believe that we will have to be getting answers fairly quickly from them, given the amount of outrage.
We were nearly completely annihilated. I don't know what else can I say. 6 million plus. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that is an insane argument, dude. Oh, sorry, we got genocided, so now we can get to do a little bit of genocide as a treat? Like, that's your argument? You're not even fucking doing... You're not even genociding the Germans, by the way. You're genociding other people that had nothing to do with the Holocaust. If anything, many of them went and fought against the Germans during the Holocaust. Like, what are you talking about? Does he think you deny the Holocaust? No, I don't think he thinks I deny the Holocaust. Because if he thought that, he would be saying that over and over again. I think he is just, you know, doing the classic fucking brainwashing that happened to him and just relitigating it. The Holocaust is very important to the inception of the Israeli state. It is like, this is something that I've described time and time again. The intergenerational trauma of pogroms that the Jewish people withstood, that they survived, plays a formative role in developing a nation-state myth for Israel being a powerful country, being a country that says never again. When many people look at that concept of never again, they think, oh yeah, we should never have another genocide ever again. Israelis look at never again as never again. We are now militant. We will always go above and beyond when we feel like we are even remotely threatened. Okay? No, I think he talks about Israel's right to exist. Israel has no right to exist as an apartheid state. End of question. Israel has no right to exist as a genocidal apartheid state. What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, deadly airstrike show system to protect aid workers and crisis agencies say. I wonder where they came from. I wonder what is like the greatest fear. It's not the point. The point is it's right to fight an organization that seeks to annihilate it. What do you mean? Who is the organization that seeks to annihilate Israel? Are you talking about Hamas? Is that what you're saying right now? Like you're making the Hamas are actually Nazis point? Really? Palestinian militancy is perfectly valid and understandable. Israel is an apartheid state. Israel is a genocidal apartheid state. Of course, human beings are going to fight back against that. If you can understand why Israel wants to be so fucking monstrously brutal against those it has declared its enemies, then you should be able to understand that there are human beings on the other side of that as well. And they've been getting fucking destroyed. Yeah, there's no moral calculus. I mean, killing 13,000 innocent isn't freedom fighting? Okay, bitch. What about 30,000 innocent civilians? Suck my fucking dick. First of all, not every single person that was killed is an innocent civilian, okay? The majority were, and that is a tragedy, an act of terror. That much is certain. Something I've openly and readily mentioned time and time again. Except, even on that front, and this is the reason why I always say Hamas is the lesser evil in comparison between Hamas and Israel. Israel has killed a shit ton more in totality, and Israel has killed more civilians. Israel has killed more children in comparison to enemy combatants. Israel has killed more civilians in comparison to enemy combatants than Hamas. So shut the fuck up. Israel has killed more Israeli hostages than Hamas has killed Israeli hostages. October 7 did not materialize out of thin air because of like anti-Jewish sentiment at the heart of Arabs, okay? It's ridiculous fucking propaganda that you've been force-fed seemingly and are very interested in believing. I'm not saying Israel is more moral, so what are you saying? What are you saying then? Are you admitting that Israel is less moral than Hamas? Because that is the truth. That October 7 isn't an act of fighting against oppression? You're not saying anything, dumb fuck. Nobody wants October 7 to happen, okay? People don't do October 7 because they think it's fun, okay? They do it because they're desperate. They do it because they want to make the occupation costly. You need to understand that even if you don't agree with the tactics or even if you don't agree with what these people have done or what these people are doing, you have to still trace the logic. And many people don't want to do that. Because when you do trace the logic, you start recognizing that there is a through line there. There is some kind of justification for it. Okay? The occupation sets the standard for violence. Okay? There's a reason why October 7 is uniquely violent for Israel. A unique price that the Israeli government paid for maintaining an occupation. The reason why it didn't happen before is because that violence in the maintenance of the apartheid has escalated throughout the years, made conditions worse and worse. And if you keep pushing people into a fucking corner, inevitably they are going to fight back. So if you don't want any kind of violent retaliation, if you don't want Hamas to exist, for example, you have to not try to eliminate Hamas, which is just an idea. You can kill a people. You can't kill their yearning for freedom. Okay? Because there will be a Hamas too. Hamas itself is a direct evolution of Palestinian resistance. If you want Hamas to no longer exist, you have to eliminate the concept. You have to eliminate the reasons for why it exists. That also isn't true. I'll come clear. I'm an Israeli. I'm strongly against the occupation. I also know a lot of Arabs that think the same about Hamas. What is not true? What did I just say that is not true? That Hamas is the lesser evil? Oh, that is objectively true. Looking at the atrocities. What do you mean? Are you saying that Israel's own fucking kill counts are incorrect? Is that what you're saying? I don't get it. When I say Hamas is the lesser evil, I'm talking about October 7 versus what has happened since October 7. Israeli actions are infinitely more brutal upon the Palestinian population and infinitely more cruel than what Hamas did on October 7. That's it. Israel's killed a shit ton more children in totality, but also per capita in comparison to enemy combatants than Hamas has on October 7. This is why I say Hamas is the lesser evil. They might not be the best at governing, you know what I mean? They certainly aren't. So how? How do you, how do you make that argument then? Like, how do you say that when, yes, Hamas and other Palestinian resistance groups, Palestinian militant resistance groups, took hostages, 250 of them. Israel has killed more of those hostages than Hamas has. Yes, Hamas took them as hostages. Israel killed them. Like, there is no metric. There is literally zero metric that justifies the counter to what I'm saying, that relitigates the actions since October 7 and makes Israel look better in comparison. There's just nothing.
That's been expressed. We've been hearing from also the head of the UN's relief agency across the world speaking.
Volodymyr Zelensky, IDF is far worse than Hamas, but Hamas still sucks, and October 7 is a product of occupation and blockade. It's still wrong to slaughter families. I think we both agree on that, but I'm saying this because some chatters seem to think one or the other. Yeah, no, these are things that every single thing that you just said, I have mentioned time and time again. Those are my positions. Of course, I don't think that it's valid to fucking kill. I don't think it's valid to kill civilians. Like, it's just, my anger towards Israel is not like unfounded or guided by some like secret anti-Semitism that I have or anything. It's because they kill fucking civilians and they make their lives brutal when they're not killing civilians. There was chatter saying October 7 was good in the chat a few minutes ago. Yes, dude. Of course there are. There's fucking... There are people who are horny on every aspect of this conversation. Think about how many fucking chatters are... Well, chatters that we haven't banned so far that have justified Israel's actions. There are still chatters in here that are justifying Israel's actions right now.
Speaking of these workers as heroes who were bringing aid to starving people. And I think the pressure on Israel is now ratcheted up another notch to try and give answers, but also to try and get more aid in safely, Eleni.